Morning, everybody. Core Conversations for Tuesday. It is a Freestyle Tuesday. So this is where I get to just hang out by myself with you and just enjoy our conversation. It's quality time. It's a good time. What's going on, Krista? Yeah, so this is a chance where I love to have people to just come on and just share what they're working on, what kind of projects they have going on, fundraisers, workshops, online classes. Let's support everyone out there doing their thing. So that's the deal. And yeah, we'll get it going shortly. I have done a terrible job of promoting my podcast this week, but it is a replay of last week where we had Natalia, Fly's Body, doing her thing. So I might drop just a freestyle sort of thing, maybe even this conversation, who knows. But I just want to have some fun with it. Just felt like I need a little bit of a change of gears, and then we'll revamp it again next week. And I have a whole month of podcasts coming up from, who is it next week? Brooke Seiler, and then John Claude Nelson. The next week will be Latifah Fleming, so Empowered Fit Chick. So we have some really fun podcasts coming up as well. Talking a lot. SG Pilates, what's going on? So, put in core connections. No, actually, let's not even do that. Hi, Sarah. Let's do it like this. Scoop for Haiti. April 3rd. Cool. That and one more thing. All right, hope everyone's having a good day. And yeah, and I had a great chat with Claire yesterday. She is an OG, and it was fun chatting with her just to be able to reflect on the fact that she had a massive influence on my Pilates path without even realizing it. She is one of the co-writers of the curriculum for Peak, and I took the Peak course originally with Pam Garcia, and she mentioned Claire Dunphy all the time. How many now? And yeah, so it's funny how these paths connect and how the movement connects and the practice itself connects. And what I mean by that is I took kind of like a contemporary course, for lack of a better word, just a special interest match course many years ago, just to learn how to use this for my own body. Then I took the Peak courses and then learned more about it there. And when I took the authentic one with Chris Robinson at Lily's Studio, when I took that course, I started to understand the classical work and the origins and stuff. And it's funny how it wasn't like what I had learned before was negated. By no means was what I had learned in one school negated by what I learned in the next. Hi, Joel. But it was interesting that when I took my apprenticeship with Chris Robinson, and then we started to really dive deep into the classical and understand the work and the origins of the work and all those different things, that it shed light on what I'd learned in my Peak course. So things that I kind of did there and understood, hi Brenda, things that I just did in the one course many years ago when I did my apprenticeship, they made sense. So I was practicing it but I didn't really understand it fully. And I guess that's our whole journey, and that's how we move through this Pilates space, is that the light bulb's going to go off for us at different points. But I just recognized that not only was the light bulb going off as I did more courses, I understood more, but connections to old work made perfect sense to me now too. And the exercise I was doing was actually a movement prep for something else. I understood where they were going when they taught a certain exercise. So my takeaway from my conversation with Claire yesterday, and my takeaway from my conversation with Brooke Styler last Monday, were go back to the basics once again and start really looking deep at them. So what I've done for myself and for my clients is I'm just looking at the reformer, first few exercises. And I wasn't planning to go here, but just out of curiosity, for those of you Pilates peeps on the chat, what do you consider the basic reformer exercises? Like, you know, the first like 5 or 6 exercises. Like, in the one that I was taught, and obviously they're different for everyone based on your experience, but the one I was taught, it was the footwork. So it is the footwork, 100, stomach massage, short box, elephant, knee stretch, running, pelvic lift, full stop. Is that, you know, give or take, is that pretty much what people were given? Just as a curiosity as I'm setting this up. And Brenda, if you're still in the space, hi Helen. I'm just talking, you know, just from a kind of a basic perspective. The point I'm making is those basic exercises, those introductory exercises, or however you want to phrase it, that's a foundation. And the way I explain it to my clients is, just because these are basic exercises, think of it more like foundational exercises. They're not like remedial exercises. They're not like beginner exercises in the sense of once you've mastered you can move on. I call it basic in the sense of, if I'm going to do a hard weight workout, okay, cool. Yeah, so if I was going to do like a hard weight workout, I might do that basic work first as my movement prep and then jump right into my weights. So, and not that I'm the most advanced person in the world, but anyone of any skill level can come back to the basic to figure out what their body needs, use it as their scan to jump into their workout. So I use it in that way. It's almost like a foundation more than, okay, you've mastered this, we're never going to see it again, let's move on to something tougher. Does that make sense to people? Hi, Tracy. So as Joel said there, yes, that's a classical beginner system Ramana did. Not beginner, foundational, meat and potatoes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I very seldom call it a beginner. So that's exactly a foundational work, meat and potatoes type work. Yeah. And yes, so that was one of my musings from the last week, is just thinking about that, what the genius of our foundational work and how that ties into other pieces. And much like in the sport conditioning world, you may have a movement prep or dynamic warm-up that sets up your exercises. Just because you can do a bodyweight squat doesn't mean, just because you can, you know, back squat 200 pounds doesn't mean you never do a bodyweight squat again. You use it to set up other movements. So that's kind of the consideration that comes in with that. Scales and piano. That's exactly it. Scales on the piano. Even the greatest pianists practice their scales. Facts. That's a great story about that world-class violinist who was, I think he was approaching 100 years old, and he still did his scales every day. And when they asked him why he still does that every day, even though he's so accomplished and a renowned international performer, his answer was, because I perceive I'm getting better. I think we should always be in that place where we are trying to get better. Now, here's another thing to consider. And this is a conversation that I had on my freestyle last week with Martin Phil's in the room. We were talking about, settle in for this one, because this is something I want to throw out there in the world for us to think about as movement practitioners, for a general term. Martin Phil's was trained in contemporary Pilates, and he's been teaching for a very long time, and he has learned from other people, dove deep on different work, understands the classical, teaches the classical as well, even though he's trained contemporary, because he is a student of the craft. He has a lady that is in his class. She heard about my class here. We've known each other for a while, so she decided to take my online class. In my online class, I'm doing a Tuesday, Thursday, Friday setup where similar to like a Kathi Nash thing, where it's like I'm setting the foundation with exercises from a classical perspective on one day. We are going through it with some kind of flow on the next day, and then we're turning into like more of a hardcore workout on one day. So it was just her in the room, so I decided to just throw the classical mat work at her from the perspective of, kind of like an intermediate, what she can do. And I just went with the order and told her that's exactly what we're going to do, just to play with it. She nailed every exercise. Obviously, it was hard for her, but she did it. And I walked away from that like, kudos to Martin Phils, who, going back to what he said originally, being trained in the contemporary, being a student of the craft, understands the classical, has taught the classical in a way that I could throw classical at someone who has been studying with a contemporary teacher, and she could do the classical and know the words and know the phrases and know how to get there, find herself in space, minimal cues, and gets it. My challenge that I walked away with from that was, it doesn't matter where you land on this contemporary classical, can you teach the work? Can you articulate it? Can you educate your people? Can they move? Can they understand what connections? Do they understand where they're supposed to be in space and where they're supposed to feel exercises? That is a higher calling than saying you subscribe to this or this, you're from this lineage, or you're from here, or you know this person, or you know that person. My man was able to teach this student. She came to a classical teacher and was able to flow with it. That is a good teacher. That is a good teacher. When I ask me what I think a good teacher is, someone who can just flow and educate the people, that you could send their client off to somewhere else in the world and they can do it. They can nail it. So yes, kudos to the teacher as well, to the student as well. I'm not taking away from her ability and what she can do in her body, but the fact that she knew exactly what I was talking about, and I threw stuff at her and she could do it, that speaks volumes of the teacher as well as the student. It's like a parent sending off your teenager, and then he just does you good by the way he represents and carries himself in the world. And you kind of feel like a proud papa. So that's my challenge. That was my personal challenge when I thought about it from that perspective. So Joel's comment here: good movement is good movement. You can learn good movement from other modalities if you have a good coach. Yes, right. Yes, I am always challenged to be better at my craft. As much as I spend time here and just amplifying other voices, there's a lot of stuff I want to do off camera to get this better into my body, and with my students to be able to teach them in ways that they understand the work for themselves, and it is their work. So I was just really inspired by that. So shout out to you, Mr. Phillips, for that. Now, the second thing that I wanted to talk about today was Brink on the weekend. I feel like now I'm a little bit more recovered, and my head's a little bit more clear, just a bit of a recovery that was needed after pouring myself into that. Brink was so fun on Saturday, and I just want to say that it was really refreshing to hear what James was talking about, this inner critic, and the way, and he just put it in such a great way that was encouraging to those who were listening to look at themselves and to find that place of freedom in their movement, in themselves, to be able to move into what they want to do next. And Kira's conversation as well, her talk was so practical from a journaling perspective, from understanding your why, understanding who who you want to work with, who you want to be, all those different things. She asked some hard questions that set up the next part of our day. So we had 3 talks. They were one after the other. So Jenna did a great maybe 20-minute piece just setting everything up. And then I spoke first. Had a few technical difficulties, and that kind of thing happens, but it's still great. The message came through. Then James spoke, then Kira spoke, and then we cycled back through to do these breakout sessions. So using that hop-in platform, the same one I'm going to use for Core Connections in a couple weeks, using that platform, we were able to answer people's questions and put some skin on the skeleton that we just gave them of how to move and how to think and where to be as an emerging leader in this space. So the conversation was very practical in that second piece, where now I have 3, 4, 5, 6 people in a room, and we can say, okay, so how do we phrase this? What are you going to say on Monday to say, I'm working on this now? How do we bring the word focus into our conversation and drop the word busy from our dialogue? Those sort of things. So we had some great practical times there, and then we finished it off with a panel discussion. So the day ended with a conversation similar to what we had on Tuesday night here last week, where the 4 of us were in the room and just talked through what this Pilates space looks like and where it's going. And it was a really insightful conversation in terms of what has worked in the past and where we are going. Watch a conversation with Claire from Monday, and it was very similar. She was talking about how back in the day, right after the lawsuit, everyone started to go out and start doing these teacher training programs, and everyone was just trying to get their information and their staffing and their wording out. And she was part of this flurry of people who were writing curriculum and things, and she had her head down and she was really working hard with Precision, I believe it was, before they changed the name to Peak Pilates. Progressive Pilates. So she was doing a great job with that. And now she's looking at it, it's like, wait a minute, there's more of a need for mentoring. So now she's shifting her business towards that. There was a time when it was like she was focusing on Pilates avatar and how do we make it accessible. I think we're still asking that question a lot. Like, how do we make this work accessible? And she had some answers and she had an approach to it. That's the question that we're now asking when we layer in digital media and all these platforms that we have. So the conversations and the questions that we're asking in these platforms, in these conferences and on here are all really, really important to ask. So I love that. Next thing I want to talk about, I just kind of throwing stuff out here, and at the same time I want to just reflect on another conversation I had, and that was with Jean-Claude Nelson, who just joined us in the room too. Hello, my friend. We had a great conversation on Friday, and he was sharing his heart and just on his reflections on the pandemic and his work and shifts that he made and all those different things. And then we spent the better part of the conversation talking about this fundraiser for Scoop for Haiti, which he's working on. So I have all my notes here, but Jean-Claude, if you want to come on, do you want to give me a thumbs up if you're good to go, and just come in and you can just talk a little about your fundraiser. And he is doing a Matt Pilates class on April 3rd at 10 o'clock Eastern time. It is free, but it's a donation. His aunt runs an orphanage in Haiti that he is giving some support to. So 5 minutes, awesome. So I love this, and I want to just share this with you, just full disclosure. My wife and I have been really thinking about what we could do with our kids, and it's one thing to say, okay, we're just going to do like a missions trip, and like you can't really go anywhere right now, but the challenge was, how do we open up our kids' worldview? How do we give to something, and how do we find something where we actually have some connection to it? Because it's one thing to give to a World Vision or feed the kids, and you don't know. I mean, I think they have a lot of accountability now, so it's not like I don't trust where their money's going to, but I don't know anyone. I don't actually have any human connection with it. So when Jean-Claude was mentioning this and how it's his aunt's orphanage and what they're doing, I started to do some research on it. And I would love, if the world had opened up enough, I would love to be able to go to have kids, have my kids come and just support that in whatever way. But in the meantime, I want to give money to it. I want to use this as a platform that I could support and that we could support. It's totally up to you. There's so many things that are vying for our attention. But this is the thing that I want to do. And actually, I'll wait. I'll wait till Jean-Claude's ready to come on, so we could do that. Kathi Ross Nash just came on too. Lancola, I see you as well. How's everybody doing? Okay, so let me flip over here. I'm going to talk about some other stuff that's going on, and then when Jean-Claude is ready to come on, he can give me the thumbs up. Jason Williams is in the house too. So, party people, check this out. Kathi is doing a birthday add-on math class on April 18th. The image is getting a little thing, but so if you guys want to jump on that, you can join her for that. Let's have some fun with this. This is the beauty of Instagram right now. So I'm going to bring on Jean-Claude first. And Kathi, if you're sticking around for a minute, I'll bring you on a little bit after as well and talk about that. Thank you, sir. I'm going to bring... let's get this going. Come here, Jean-Claude.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes.
Can you hear me okay? My headphones are...
So I'll give you a second. Yeah, now you're back.
There you go.
Right on.
Awesome.
So I'm having my lunch break, my late lunch break, and I'm at my favorite spot where the closest park to my studio is actually a graveyard. So here I am in the sunshine. This is where I used to do my math as well last year. And it's beautiful. I love to sit here and be peaceful.
Yes.
There's lots of people around, kids around, so it's a joyful place. And
it's good to be like...
yes.
It's great to be like alone in public, right? Like there's something about just being a face in the crowd and watching the world go by that I do that downtown Toronto. I'm a city kid, so I'll like sit and like watch the world just go like this and just find peace.
I love it. That's what they do in Paris at the coffees. They just sit, the tables are facing to the street and they don't talk. They just drink their coffee and watch the people go by.
Yes.
So it's very, very Parisian. So
yes.
Sometimes they say like, what is he wearing? Look at her. Look at him,
yes.
but just like
yes.
see the people,
Yes. I have a classic car. I have this 1986 Porsche 944.
I heard about it. Lucky you.
So, well, the funny thing is though, there's no cup holders in the car.
Uh-huh.
That's an era when you would drive somewhere, you sit down, you have your tea, you have your coffee, and then you go on with your day. It's not about a rush, about you have your coffee and you have to get somewhere and this and that. It forces you to slow down.
Stuff the food in, mobile phone, kids in the back.
Yes, exactly. So that's part of my tranquil thing is the fact that this car reminds me that I can't multitask. I need to be present here and then present here and then present here.
Absolutely. Multitasking is a big misconception. I don't think anybody can properly multitask. I mean, multitask your body first and then your mind, and then we talk about the rest. But I don't believe in multitasking. It's not possible. If you give a real proper attention to something, you can't do three things at the same time, or you have to be really like a overhuman or a genius or a Superman or Super Wonder Woman or something like that.
Yes.
But us normal human beings, we can't multitask. I don't believe.
No. Right. Hey, okay, so I don't want to monopolize your whole lunch break
all right.
here. But your fundraiser is coming up this Saturday. I didn't realize it was
absolutely.
Like that fast.
I'm also I was so busy and it's like all over the place. So yeah, it's coming up this Saturday. It's gonna run me over I don't know. I'm looking forward for it, but I'm actually not prepared. But I never feel prepared for anything that I'm doing. So I'm just excited. It doesn't matter how much I prepare. I never feel prepared. So it's this Saturday, and I'm really excited about it. And yes, because the whole March Madness was for me a build-up for this event. Actually, this whole month, all the videos I did was a build-up to do this. So and the fundraiser, of course, but also the workout. So it's both. as important as the workout and sharing the work and doing return to life and standing Pilates as the fundraiser for Haiti. And both projects are two things which are the closest to my heart. It's just like my left heart and my right chamber of my heart or something like that. So let's pump the blood in there and get all the systems running. So and scoop our stomachs, scoop maybe a little bit our wallet, and scoop our mind. Yes.
Oh, well said. Well, I wanted to say this to you, just while I have everyone here. I do, people always ask about core conversations and how can I support core conversations? And I use a platform called buymeacoffee.com. So people can, they pay $5 and that's buying a coffee. And then the money goes directly towards this project. And I just put the money right back in and it's great. So I'll put an ask out, or I'll just say, support through Buy Me a Coffee, Core Conversations, and I get money and then I just put it back into the business. For the month of April, guys, what I want to do is I want to dedicate all the money that comes in to buymeacoffee.com towards Scoop for Haiti.
I love that.
Right? So
yeah, and it's funny. The coffee used to come from Haiti.
Yes.
Not anymore. But my family got the whole opportunity to certain richness and education because of the coffee and sugar.
Really?
So that was the business. Yes, my grandmother, she took over the business when her husband died, and that was actually the main income, coffee and sugar. Yeah, so coffee for Haiti is perfect.
Yes, there you go. So the Core Connections, we're doing a speed networking event next Friday, and that's just like 5 minutes. You get to meet people and just connect with your old friends and your new friends, talk about whatever business you're going on, and it's just a super fast event, and it's sold out like maybe the first 2 days of registration, and I had to keep opening up more spots. We had over 90 people last time. So once again, it is a free event. I will have some people that sponsor it, but I would love for those of you who are out there who went last time to that Connections event, if you can support by doing Buy Me a Coffee, even if it's just $5, whatever you pay to go to the Core Connections, and anything else that comes in through Buy Me a Coffee for the month of April, I'm going to give towards the orphanage, because I think that's amazing work. And just connecting with you, connecting with your aunt on that is like, that's one touch point. So I love that. So
I see you with my third eye. Thank you very much. I mean, thank all of you. I mean, and like I say, it's great to get some money together, but I'm so happy if you guys just join the class for free and we work out and have fun. I mean, honestly, it's really not all about just getting money together. It's about sharing the work. Don't forget that's the priority part, sharing Joe's work and have fun. Yeah, so we're gonna have fun. We're gonna dance at the end. We're gonna dance some compa, some Haitian dance, national dance. Yeah. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I teach you the basic step, and then we're just gonna dance and have fun. So
nice.
That's it from my side. So guys, there's more stuff going on. So thank you very much for hooking me in, and thanks for everything. And I hope to see you all on the mat, and to rock this planet,
awesome,
this planet Earth.
Yes.
Universal love. Universal love. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Take
care.
Bye. You're gonna have to sign off there.
How do I sign out?
I don't know.
Should I just close the thing? I just closed the thing.
Yeah, I think so.
Bye.
There you go. Awesome. So that's the deal, guys. So buymeacoffee.com has been amazing. I have to say thank you so much for that, because this isn't like, it costs me an hour of my time to do these, but I do have, Ninja in the background who does my, processing of it for me, the podcast, all those things. I will put out on, say, a Friday, like, this is how you can support. And on that Saturday or Sunday, I'll have enough money to cover the month of doing this podcast in like 2 days. People support in such a fantastic way for Core Conversations, let alone. So as Core Connections comes up, I'm going to open the registration tomorrow. Once again, it's free to join, but I'll leave the link in there for buymeacoffee.com, and all the monies that come in the month of April will go towards this orphanage and go towards Scoop for Haiti, Claude Nelson is doing. So I just want to support that way and just want to just amplify that voice and just leverage all of you people who love his work to support what is important to him. And I just love the work that we're doing for the Plies community, and I just wanted to just give that shout out. So that's going to be fun. Kathi, are you still in the room there? Give me a thumbs up. I'll bring you on, and you can talk about your birthday celebrations. It's my birthday in April as well, too. So got lots of love for my April peeps. Yeah, all right. Buymeacoffee.com. Okay, let me bring on Kathi. Hello, good morning, Kathi.
Hello. For some reason, I don't see you. Can you see me?
I've got a still frame there. I might have to.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Oh, when's your birthday in April?
April 11th.
Nice.
Yes.
Aries, not surprised.
It's so funny. I don't. I'm not a big birth. What are those called? Those
Right,
Aries, Taurus
signs, zodiac signs. Yeah.
Or zodiac signs. I don't really follow them, but every now and then I'll read them. I'm like, that's me.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know what I really find, and maybe it's that you're born in the spring, that those of us that are born around this time of year tend to be very childlike in a lot of ways and playful in a lot of ways. So I definitely do see that thread, throughout everybody. But listen, I don't want to take up your time.
No, yeah.
I just want on my birthday, April 18th, I'm doing an add-on mat, and I did it last year. I'm going to do it this year, and I'm going to ask what I wanted to ask as well is that it's obviously free, but if you would like to give back, I am supporting Scoop. So if you could give to that charity, it would mean a lot. The reason I do this class on my birthday is that I come from a family that believed that you always give back what you get from this world. And so my daddy said to me, on your birthday, you should always do your favorite things. So for me, it's Pilates and giving back to the world.
Amazing.
So that's why I give a free class for everybody. And I'm just going to ask, if you want to give $1, give 50 cents, whatever you can to Scoop for Haiti as my birthday present.
Amazing.
That would be absolutely amazing. It's going to be 1 p.m. April 18th.
Yes.
Be prepared to sweat. If you don't know what the add-on mat is, it is a mat that I created where it's Groundhog Day. You do the 100, the roll up, the 100, the roll up, the leg circle. This year, we're going to go through Joe's classical, whatever it is, mat. And then at the end, we do it all with full repetitions. Oof. Well, it gets worse because being that I'm turning 57, I choose 1 or 2 exercises and we do 57 repetitions of it. So you'll remember me the next day.
And the day after.
Yes. So thank you so much for giving me this time. And,
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I really appreciate it. And this is my, please support Scoop for Haiti. It is a fabulous foundation that we can all do something for.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And one last thing too, as much as we I love, we're saying, give, and just being sensitive to the fact that some people can't give, and we say, you can just show up and
absolutely
just
show up.
Please just show up. Support in numbers and what you learn from the class. Take those little nuggets into your students, and in the next couple of days.
And that's I'm so grateful you said that, because some people go, well, I can't give anything. No, but you can. Because if you are there, you're increasing viewer numbers. You increase viewer numbers, it brings more awareness to anything that we are doing. Also, like you said, what you bring back to your studio, that is giving. When a gift is presented and you refuse it, that's an insult. So I'm inviting you all, so don't insult me.
Yes. Yes. My mom would say this: if someone refused the gift she was saying, she says, "Don't rob me of my blessing."
Yes, that's perfect. That's exactly
Yes.
it. That's there's nothing more
Yes.
that, when you give something of your heart, when you really give something of your heart, and this work is my heart, if it's refused, it breaks my heart. So,
That was like mother guilt 101 right there.
I'm really good at that. Ask my kids.
That's awesome. Okay, I won't take any more of your time, but Kathi, thank you so much for doing it. Thank you so much for giving to Scoop for Haiti too. Like, I just love this, the momentum that's coming with this. Jean-Claude, we're here for you, my friend.
Absolutely. Good, great man. Great man inside and out. You be well.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Amazing. All right. So that was pretty fun and unscripted. That was awesome. So I hope that just like April is just such a huge blessing for that orphanage, and everyone who's doing Jean-Claude on April 3rd, you might be healed just in time for April 18th. And I do my own workout. I don't open it up for people, but now that we're talking about it, if anyone wants to join me for a TRX workout on April 11th, this is what I do. And I'll probably do it live. I wasn't going to make a big deal out of it, but I like the challenge. This is what I do every single year. I've done this since 36, 37, 38. I'm turning 46 on April 11th. And what I do is TRX atomic push-up, TRX row, TRX squat, TRX lunge, bicep curl, triceps. So it's a TRX workout. So Pilates peeps, I go right back to my roots in TRX, and I do my age in that workout on that day. That's what I do. If you have a TRX, you're down, you can join me. In that order, yes. Yes, I'll send it to you. It's, if you like go way down in my Instagram, you'll see it like 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44. I would say no to hook it on the Cadillac, because it'll rock with you when you try and do the push-ups and all kinds of stuff where you're leaning out for that vector point. The April 3rd event, Scoop for Haiti, is at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. When you, so that the information, I actually put it in the link on my page. So if you go to Bluebird Pilates, go to Jean-Claude Nelson, or go to my site, if you hit the link in the bio, it's the first header on my site, and it's just a direct link on both of Jean-Claude's sites. So check that out. I was saying something earlier about Brink, and I just had another reflection I wanted to bring out. When I was talking about my talk at Brink, I had spent a lot of time preparing for it. Yes, Matt. I spent a lot of time preparing for it, and I presented it, and I used the analogy of a wedding planning event where you plan your wedding, you do everything, and you might miss some things along the way, but people have such a great time that they don't even recognize the fact that you might have missed something. Something might have missed, but they had such a great time. That's how I feel like my talk went, where I feel like it was great. There's some really good impact and some fantastic takeaways, but it didn't play out the way I wanted to play out in my head. And before anyone steps in to save me, I'm not disappointed by it. I'm actually challenged to do better next time and to be more succinct, to be planned in different ways and all those different things. So it's really, it was healthy for me to see it not unfold the exact way I wanted to, because that brings me back to the drawing board and the way that I present and what I was trying to get across and what the clear message was. Because there was a clear message that people took away, but it was like a side message to what I was really trying to say. So I'm happy that people took something away from it, but it wasn't like that's what I wanted them to take away from it. So it hits people differently, and it has a different impact on people, and I'm fine with it, totally fine with it. But this is the thing that came to me as like shower thoughts when you're reflecting on it after the fact, was the kind of message that came to me in my head was, were you looking for perfect execution or were you looking for impact? When you spoke, were you looking for perfect execution or were you looking for impact? Pause for a moment and I kind of listened to that. And I reflected on it in my heart, like, what really was I going for there? Did I want people to clap at how good it sounded? Or did I want people to walk away with something new for Monday that was different than what they were doing on Friday? My answer was both. My answer was both. Myself, my ego wanted perfect execution and impact. And yes, impact for sure, impact, precision. This is the thing. I want that perfect execution because I'm always chasing after excellence, chasing after being elite and all those things. Now, that's one thing to chase after that. It's another thing to accept the fact that, one, it's always a pursuit. Two, that you might not get there. You're probably never going to get there, but enjoy the pursuit. And third, what do you do when you don't get there? How do you handle loss? Do you have poise when things don't go right? So if I'm chasing after greatness, recognizing that it is a pursuit, recognizing that there will be disappointments along the way and that I can make my pivots and go after next time, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to say that I was chasing after a perfect execution, as long as I accept the fact that it is not. As long as I accept the fact that it's not going to be just that. Like what Marianne's saying there, like, what is perfection? Perfection in my mind isn't like absolute business. It is that pursuit of it. It is trying to get better every single time that you go out there. So I like looking at it from that perspective, unapologetically just trying to get better every time. Can I get better every single time without beating myself up when I don't get there, and without imposing that personal pursuit on anyone else? I won't judge anyone in it. I won't beat myself up if I don't get it, but I'm going to chase after it every single time. So my answer was both. Precision is a great word. When Raul was which was on here, he said, I'm not a perfectionist, I'm a precisionist. He got that from somewhere, and I thought it was accurate, because that's exactly it. We are trying to be precise with our message, precise with our delivery, precise with all these different things. And that only comes from a place of being able to forgive yourself. That comes from having a place where that comes from a place of being able to be gracious with yourself when you don't achieve. I don't care if I lose, but I'm trying to win. When I was playing sports, even if it was a squash game, I would try and win 9-0, 3 rounds, 27-0, crush the person. I don't care. But if the person is better than me, I'll still play them to see if, okay, well, I know I'm not going to win the game, but can I hit the ball where I want it to go? can I get a drop shot in? Can I get a lob off on this person? Whatever it is, I'd find somewhere where I can get some precision. I can find a spot where I can get a win in the midst of that loss, so to speak. So it's a different mindset that I personally challenge myself with. Okay, I'm going to pursue this, but I'm going to be forgiving of myself, gracious of myself in its pursuit so that I can get better. Your thoughts? Sometimes there's a delay, so I kind of pause sometimes and just let things linger out there for a minute. That was just a fancy way of saying that I'm not beating myself up because it wasn't perfect, and I just want to just be better. The drive really isn't even perfection; it's just to be better. Simple as that. Better every day, and just find what better looks like for yourself. The drive is the perfection. Ah, yes. This band that I used to wear on my wrist used to say better every day, one of these things. And hi from Argentina. And yeah, so I loved that band. Peter Twist gave it to me at one of his talks, and he's a mentor and a great inspiration. And after wearing it for like 4 or 5 years, it finally broke. And my dad and his buddies, my West Indian group, doing their Pilates 5 o'clock in the morning, I told them that it broke. And without a beat, these wise old men said to me, it's like, well, it's because you have the message on the inside now. You no longer need to wear it on the outside. And that was enough to stop me from, trying to make my own or order another one. I was like, yeah, I do have that on the inside. It is about getting better every day. And I don't need to wear that as a reminder on my wrist, because I wear it on my heart that this is what we're doing. We're always learning. Even in loss, we learn. And then we're always trying to simply get better, whether it's in our practice, in our mindset, in our giving of ourselves, in just refining ourselves. Like, how do we get better every single day? Love that. Nobody ever asked you why you won. Love it. All right. So that's some good stuff. I didn't even talk about the core connections. So last thing on the agenda for today is to talk about this networking event that we're running on April 9th. So that is next Friday, and it's our speed networking event, which we did in I can't remember when we did it last. Maybe January, February. I can't remember. I should really know when's the last time I did this event, but it was super fun. And for those who have never been to before, never done it before, well, the way it works is that we have a little video set up, and we use a hop-in platform, and then there's a little blue button, and it says ready to connect. You press that button, and then it just cycles through, and then on your screen appears in a video chat format whoever else is registered. It could be a perfect stranger, it could be your long-lost friend. And you have 5 minutes only to talk with this person. So the last time it was around mentoring, you could just talk about different projects you're working on, just learn what people are doing and make those connections. I'm just making it free for all this time. I just want people to connect. We don't have an opportunity to go to a conference and then bump into somebody at their trade booth and just talk about stuff and then wait for Joel after he finishes his workshop to come off the stage and say hi. let's just connect. I think we are completely starved of human connection. And this still isn't even human connection, skin to skin. But it is a good time to just smile and laugh, to get addicted to pressing that button, to have your face all sore from smiling so much. It was just a great time last time. And it was great seeing, people that I see all the time. There's names of people whose handles doesn't connect with who they actually are. So when Love Movement Pilates pops up and they're like, oh, hi, it's like, oh, that's you. And then it becomes this great fun moment. I want to create those moments for people. So that's what's happening April 9th. I set it at 5 p.m. so we can get some of our like UK people in. I know it's a late night. It's a big ask for like Amy Callow and Julie Driver to stay up till 10 o'clock when you have kids that are on your tail all day long. But 5 o'clock is kind of like a semi-sweet spot for people. I know it's early for our West Coast people. That's the middle of your day still. But we got to find somewhere, unless I do like one of these on the hour. That's kind of how it lands. Regardless, that's what's going on. Speed networking on April 9th at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am going to open up the registration tomorrow, so you'll see some more stuff coming up on that. BuyMeACoffee.com will be your way to give towards the core connections, and everything in the month of April will go towards Scoop for Haiti, and that's how we do. Yes, please register fast. Once I open it up, I'm going to do a video about this later. Once I open it up tomorrow, register as soon as you can, because it was full within like 3 days, and people were messaging me, and I was able to open another 10 spots, and then more people were messaging me, and I had to open up another 10. And once you hit 100 people, you have to pay extra per person, and then it just gets ridiculous. So the true cutoff is 100 people. So I think I said to 60 and then made it 70, then 80, then 90. So once the doors open, please register, please give. If you can't give, please come and just bring your smiling face. It is going to be just another fun time once again. I was talking with my wife about it, and we're thinking, well, do we make it like Spring has Sprung, and then you could talk about all these different things that you're doing? And I didn't want to make it a stuffy networking, like here's my business card event. I actually wanted to just be a connecting event. If you like the person, you can press that extend button and keep your conversation going. If you don't like the person, you can pretend that you had some kind of connection and just do that, and then just cancel them, and then pretend that like actually you just, there was a network breakdown and you didn't want to talk to them anymore, and just play it off. If your buddy shows up, talk forever. If your arch enemy in the Pilates world pops up, you could skip them. Like, you could just have fun with it, or you could actually just connect with people and just be who you are and just enjoy it. So that's the deal. That's April 9th. We got April 3rd Scoop. We have April 9th Core Connections. We have April 18th, the add-on mat nasty workout. That's going to be so fun. Yes, there was a theme last time. I only did like a keynote for like 20 minutes, Roxy. That's fine. I'm glad that impacted you. Yeah, it's all good. Better every day, right? Shouldn't be so feisty on these things. All right, so we are at 54. Thank you guys for joining me today. Tomorrow we have JL Richardson. If you have not read this book, the book is called The Gutter Child. This lady in the lower box is a longtime friend, and that book in the back corner is Gutter Child. Look it up on Amazon or wherever you buy books. JL Richardson, Gutter Child. Fantastic book. So many connections to real life in the character development, and she is she's basically just on a circuit right now where she's going to schools, and she's not talking about her book. She's talking about the process of getting published, the process of writing, the joy of learning. Because most people probably haven't read the book, or like you haven't even heard of it, but she's talking about that process. And how do we get people of color thinking and writing? How do we find ways to get people connected to a joy of reading. And it starts with seeing yourself in the book, seeing Black faces, seeing Black authors. Instead of reading Catcher in the Rye, why not read Gutter Child in grade 9? That sort of thing. So that's her mission. We all have a mission. We all have a currency. My currency is movement. JL's currency is literacy. So whatever we do, I like to celebrate that. Core Conversation is really, whether I have DJ starting from scratch and his currency is DJing and movement and dance and giving people an excuse to get out of the business of every day, or when someone comes to us and they sit down on the reformer and then that's their hour where they can be present, we give that. So whatever our currency is, I want to give space for that and celebrate what people do when they move from their place of passion. And that's what's up. So she's on tomorrow. Please join us for that. Thank you for joining me today. JCN, thank you. KRN, thank you. And we are